Hey, everybody. Thanks for the Danger Zone podcast. This is episode 13. Lucky episode 13. Today we talked about mostly political things. We touched on a little bit the death of Senator John McCain, and then that kind of just kept rolling into more political issues. We have a really great ending to this one that I hope you enjoy and are entertained by. What did I say? Tained by? Entertained by. What is going on? Oh my god, I can't even speak. This intro is going to be just as good as the episode. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're enjoying our episodes, please go ahead and share those with friends and family so that they can enjoy the shit out of them too. Go ahead and please comment on anything you want us to discuss further or anything you agree, disagree with, or just, hey, you guys suck, or hey, you guys are awesome. Whatever it is. But if you're enjoying it, let other people enjoy it too. And thank you for listening, because we love y'all. And we do this for you and ourselves because we enjoy the fuck out of it. We like talking about stuff. Anyway, that's it. Let's get right into the episode. The Danger Zone podcast, episode Lucky 13.
Highway to the danger zone. Gonna take it right into the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone.
Yeah, you can't. What would happen if you went somewhere and you're like, oh, sit down Indian style? Like nowadays, you would get crucified, right? I don't think you can say you would get crucified. Is that?
No,
is that
man. Like for some reason,
double fuck up.
I think it's so old. Like nobody cares anymore. Like crucified's allowed in PC
Right.
culture.
Okay. So we're safe on that
Yeah.
one. The Indian style.
Indian style's
That's not gonna be
allowed
good.
unless you're like in
Is it?
like fucking grade school.
I feel like you can't say Indians. Don't sit down Indian style. There's no fucking way you're getting away with that.
Yeah.
There's no way.
As an adult, I think you can. They teach kids for sure not to, but as an adult, we all grew up with it, and it's not an offensive act. You know what I mean?
Sit down Indian style, bro.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there would be some outraged groups of individuals.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's
Like
always
all
yeah,
things.
Yeah.
Like all. Oh shit! Can we talk about for just one real quick
We can talk
second
about
that
whatever you want, man.
Senator John McCain died
Oh yeah.
today? That was today,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, man. It was crazy. I heard that he
Or
was
yesterday, but yeah.
Was it yesterday?
I think it was yesterday.
All right. Well, whatever. Whoever's listening to this has no fucking clue what day it is, anyways. Yeah, I just heard like days prior that he was gonna stop his cancer treatment,
Yeah.
and then like 2 days later he died. Or
Yeah,
something.
I mean, the
Man.
doctors probably told him that he had days.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
So
Any thoughts?
Yeah.
Any good memories? Anything you want to talk about? Or
No,
just mention
honestly,
his death?
not really. I don't know. I wasn't super involved in John McCain, or I don't know enough about him. And then whoever he was as an actual person, I have no idea. I wouldn't want to besmirch somebody that just passed away.
No,
so-
I won't
Yeah, I
either.
don't-
But just to stay on some key points, he wasn't. I don't like many Republicans just because of the current political climate. But
Yeah, they make it not easy.
yeah, he wasn't one of them that made it not easy. He made it.
Well, that's true.
He made it
He was,
considerable. When
yeah.
he was running, he was not like an outlandish. Even if he wasn't the front runner, he wasn't an outlandish choice. He always had an air of character, and
Yeah.
you could feel like you could believe him when he said things, which
Well, I just
he was an
kept
honorable
seeing,
man.
Yeah. I keep seeing that word being used, and it's probably a really accurate way to portray him. And I saw something that has been on my feed a couple of times from different people, and it was something it was when he was running for president against President Obama, and
the
a
town
lady
hall,
asked
yeah.
him, yeah, and the lady was like, I don't know about that Obama, and he's an Arab or something like that. And
Yeah.
John McCain just shook his head, and he was like, no, he's not, ma'am. And he is a decent man and blah blah blah, and we
He's a
just
good
happen to
American.
disagree.
He cares about this
Yeah,
country, and
exactly.
yeah,
We just happen to disagree about policy stuff, and I was like, that I mean that might be a really good way to sum him up.
yep,
Of he can still appreciate somebody who's trying to do something right
yeah.
and
See,
from their
the
perspective
seeds
and
were
disagree
already
with them.
laid when Trump or before when McCain ran against Obama, and McCain recognized it, and especially in that moment, and decided to not like give in and not take that low road of the low hanging fruit and appeal to those
And that was
people. And then Trump came
yeah.
around and he fucking ate it up. He grabbed all the low hanging fruit and set that shit on fire.
Well, and John McCain was the first person that President Obama went up against, right?
What do you mean?
Like, was that
That was the
who?
08 election was Obama against McCain. Yeah.
Right. See, and then that was like McCain.
But McCain had
He was
ran in 2000 as a long shot, and then George Bush Jr.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, John McCain was coming off of the Bush era and everybody being upset about the wars and all like that. But like, I think like John McCain now, I don't know. You think he would have had any chance against Donald Trump?
Well, I don't know, man.
Like, am I being like he didn't run in the primaries, right? Am I being stupid right now?
No,
I feel
that's
like an
what I was just
asshole
trying to think
for
of,
even
actually.
having to ask that.
I
But he didn't run in the primaries because
He
everybody was
didn't.
set on fucking Ted and Marco Rubio and what's his name?
No,
The
I
other
don't think
Bush
he
that
ran
had
this
no
time.
chance.
I think he
No, he
probably
didn't, right?
felt his health was failing him.
Yeah, he could have had a chance. But anyways,
Oh,
yeah, obviously that was But so yeah, John McCain, dude, I don't know. He was a Navy pilot. He was, as far as I could tell, a decent man who just had disagreements with the way that policies should be carried out, and
yeah.
that's nothing to hold
And even
against him.
his voting record is very mixed on both sides, of like bipartisan,
Well,
like for some really good stuff and for some really bad stuff. I mean, he was really all over the board.
yeah.
But I didn't ever get the sense that he had lost his soul. He may have gone down some wrong paths, but
Right.
it wasn't a permanent like departure. It wasn't like, well, I
Well,
did it. I now I'm a part of these guys. Like, no,
yeah.
I did it. I fucked up, and I'm gonna call you guys out along with myself and try and force us to fix it. He really
Well, that's a
wanted to
huge
get
thing.
money out of politics. Like, and any politician that has that as a main goal, like something they really are pushing legislation on, is much more likely to be on the side of
An honest, decent person.
of the people they're representing. Yeah, to be an honest person,
Yeah.
because they're in the system, and if they're saying, "Hey, we're getting too much money. That this is not right. This is the fucking oligarchy," and they get shut down, of course, because they're a minority. But it's still
Yeah.
a very noble cause to fight for.
Yeah, and even somebody like him who would come out against party lines and, disagree with President Trump or when he was candidate Trump or anything like that, like, yeah, I mean, everybody could be more vocal about the way that they actually feel about things. I know people still have political agendas and kind of toe party lines and are careful about what they say, but I know on at least, a number of occasions he's come out and said like, no, that's wrong, man.
Yeah,
And
he was all against the torture during the Bush years, and the
Yeah.
waterboarding and stuff like that, which broke with the party line.
he would definitely have to be, right? You would hope.
Yeah, right. But
He's like, come on, asshole.
you'd be surprised what Republicans can twist and be like, that's nothing compared to what I went to. Some people could be like that. He could have easily been like that, but he stood his principle, whatever that principle may have ever been. He stood on it when shit hit the fan, and
Yeah.
a lot of people, especially us military guys, like we get our fucking training, you know what to do, and blah blah blah, POW. And a lot of us think we would do good, do
Jesus
well
Christ.
under those situations, comparatively
I have
hold
no
up,
idea.
that we wouldn't, break, or if we did, we'd roll back and recover. But after 5 years of that, when they
The fuck?
said, "Hey, you can go home because we know who your dad is,"
Is that how long it was? He was POW for 5
over
years?
5 years, I think he was at around the 5 year mark. They offered to let him go because they found out his dad was a colonel, and he said he wasn't leaving unless everybody was leaving, and they kept him for like another year
Yeah.
and a half or something.
Jesus.
Like,
Yeah, there's no way. I lost hope a long time ago.
yeah, yeah. Like, I'm not saying like I'm kind of full of myself, but at the same time I know that I would have a hard time living up to that standard. Like, I don't know if I could do that. And
Dude,
I'm a
yeah, and
stubborn.
that's the thing is like
my fucking word, I have a lot of pride, but I don't know, man.
yeah, that's a toughie. Well, that's the thing is like you don't really know until you get into that situation. I mean, you could run it a million different ways, and even if you're like staunchly, I will do this and this, but psychologically, that kind of time and whatever being through all of that, who knows how your mind and everything has been warped into thinking a different way. I don't know. That's just so much time being a captive. I couldn't even imagine that. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And to start
Anyway.
with fucking broken legs and shit from plane landing and just get worse from there.
No idea. Anyways, yeah, rest in peace, John McCain. Thanks for your service to everybody. And even if we disagreed, that's okay, man. You tried to do the right thing by what you thought was the right thing, and that's not a terrible idea.
You're here.
Boom. Boom, Johnny McCain.
You
You're looking like
Googled.
the golden boy compared to
Yeah.
the Donald.
Did you
the
see,
Don.
you saw that he said he didn't want Trump at his wake?
Oh, shut up. He said that
Yeah.
before he died?
He said he wanted Pence there instead.
Shut the fuck
Yep.
up.
So
A dude who
Obama
has served.
and Bush
Wait.
and Pence are invited.
Shut the
Yep.
fuck up. Is that
Yes,
really a
real,
thing?
yeah.
What if Donald showed up?
No, I don't think he would. It would be
What
a
if he
scene.
did?
It would be a scene. The McCains, especially
Well,
his
he
daughter.
loves that shit.
No, it would be an ugly scene.
Dude, that would be fucking wicked, dude.
That would be very
If you-
ill-advised, even for him.
Dude, the dying wishes of a man, and you just like,
Yep.
I'm president. Fuck
Not
that
just
shit.
of the
I'm
man,
rolling up.
but of the family too. You think his
Right,
wife
right,
and his
right,
daughter
right,
want to
correct.
see him there? His daughter's been very outspoken
Absolutely.
about her on her dad's behalf when it comes to what she thinks of Donald Trump, what the family thinks of him.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's crazy. I can't believe
The Cindy
a
is the mom and
sitting
Megan.
senator that's like, dying wishes. Let's make sure the president's not at my wake.
Yeah.
I'm not about that life. Hard pass.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what I just heard recently? Who is the woman on Trump's team that's been there since like the primaries,
Kellyanne
who
Conway.
gets shit on a lot? Yes. Apparently her husband is a staunch opponent of President
Yeah.
Trump and like
I
talks
think
shit
I talked to you about that
about
like
him.
a week ago.
Did we talk
Yeah,
about that
yeah.
shit?
Yeah.
Like he's talking shit via Twitter
Yep.
about President Trump all the time, and his wife is like this spokes fake news
Yeah.
person. Like what?
Yeah. She said
How does that household
last week
work?
She was like, talking to a fucking press group. You guys have this weird obsession with the president. You always want to talk about the president, and
Oh yes, why would you?
She's like, it's really weird. And I think they were
God
just kind of
damn
like dumbfounded, like,
For sure. They're like, that's literally what our press corps is for, right? Like, we only cover the president. That's why you know who we are, because we're here every fucking time.
yeah,
Why do you guys want to know what the president's doing? Oh my god.
yeah,
That's a beautiful mind right there.
yeah.
100%.
Well, we have alternative facts.
Is that what it was? Wasn't that
That was
like...
her too.
That was alternative facts? Yeah. That was a good one.
And then Giuliani
That-
recently, truth isn't always truth.
Yeah, that was a good one. He's throwing that alternative facts in their thing a little
Yeah.
bit. Truth isn't always truth.
Which there is some
I
truth
know.
in that.
No, well, that's the thing. Like, when you just said it, I was like, I mean, your truth isn't necessarily my truth,
No,
so
but there is an objective truth.
to some things at
Yeah,
least,
yeah.
facts.
To facts, like this did occur on this day. These words
Exactly.
came out of your mouth.
Yeah,
This
you
money
can
was
cite
paid to this
statistics.
person.
I mean, yeah, you can cite statistics and studies and all of that, but interpretation. But the world is not flat, probably. I heard most recently that it was possibly donut shaped, so I'm looking into that because all cards are on the table, all bets are off. I don't know at this point. The Earth could be any such shape. Donut's a good one though. I like that. I don't know why.
Donut?
I'm a fan. Yeah, the donut Earth. Yeah, maybe it was the onion. I might have seen it on the. I saw it somewhere and I just fucking cracked up.
Yeah, but the
don't know.
donut, like, we have pictures of the Earth, like.
You know what's so crazy is people. It's so fucked up out there that I don't even know if the donut thing was from the onion or not. Because I was like, people could actually believe that. I do not put that past some asshole somewhere. They're like, yeah, there's fucking donut Earth. I seen this YouTube video, and it was proven, and it makes sense to me. The guy threw. Have you seen the guy? He literally dips like a beach ball in water, and then spins it in the air, and he videotapes all of the water flying off of the ball, and he's like, how is it possible that the Earth is a globe that's spinning with water that doesn't just fly off of it? And I was like, get the fuck out of here right now.
Wow.
This is the science that's being taught on YouTube, and people are like, yeah, man, that makes you're making a lot of sense, brother. Why isn't the water spinning off the Earth?
Wow.
Yep. That's a real thing. That's a real thing, America. That's President Donald Trump's base. I'm not saying that everyone that voted for Trump believes that the Earth is flat, but everyone that believes the Earth is flat definitely voted for Donald Trump.
That's fair, man. That's totally fair.
Super true. Super true. You know, I should read books about him. Not books that he's quote unquote written or ghost written
Who,
or
about
whatever I'm
Trump?
assuming it is. Yeah, I should read books. Like, he would be an interesting study. Like, from a real psychologist perspective, not just, like someone that can really dissect that shit and go deep history style.
Dude, good fucking luck.
Somebody's done it or doing it for
Well,
sure.
there's a couple books. There's one that was just written called "Everything Trump Touches Dies" by a pretty good, respected journalist who's a Republican by nature, but and he kind of goes over his history and of what accomplishments he's actually had and failures that abound.
Well, I watched a mini docuseries on Netflix about President Trump. It was like 6 episodes long. I think I got to 4 because I got bored and kind of like, bleh. But it seemed like he had a good streak until he opened the Taj Mahal, and then it went all to shit. Like, he built Trump Tower. He bought some building on it was a hotel on a prime corner in some place in Manhattan or something like that. And he bought it, and everything was going good. And then he built the Taj Mahal, which at the time, I believe, was the most expensive building ever constructed, or something like that. I'm almost certain that that's true. And
Ran it to the ground.
so that happened, but it was just a money pit, and that was where a lot of his financial decline kind of happened, and that kind of started ruining him. And then I know he had all of his ventures into literally everything: Trump steaks and university and
vodka.
probably. Did you do the vodka thing too?
Trump vodka.
He went full P Diddy. Yeah, man. Yeah, he did all of the things. So I don't know. I also remember hearing a study, or not a study. I remember hearing somebody saying that, like, the money basically that he inherited from his father back in the 60s or 70s or whatever the fuck it
You
was.
put it in a mattress.
With
You would have been better off.
Yeah, basically like with inflation and just putting it into the market and gaining his whatever the market would have increased his wealth by, like he would have more money now doing that than anything that he actually quote unquote like accomplished on his own. And then also like Trump hotels are not owned by Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's literally some guy that's like, "Hey, bro, can I call this a Trump hotel?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"Sure, bro."
And Trump gets paid
Like he
for the
franchises his name out
Yeah.
basically.
That's,
So he's not really a developer. He just, which he does do. I don't, I don't
well,
want
with all that Russian money,
lie, but-
he got back into the game.
Them-
in the
yeah,
2000s.
balling.
And
We're both getting fired after this episode, by the way.
oh, why? You don't like
Boom.
the Russians? You're not supposed to like the Russians. Wait.
Oh
can't
no,
keep up. Do
I
we
like
the
Russian
Russians?
people probably. I don't know. They're probably nice people. They like to
No,
get
see,
fucked up and eat pickles.
When I was growing up, you weren't supposed to say that. I know. I'm so confused.
It's just because you're old. Yeah, we just, dude, isn't that such a weird thing? Like when you think about it, people are like, oh, the Russians. We're like, yeah, that's 150 something million people. You think they're all shitheads, huh? Like, no. There's just a bunch of them at the top that are probably less pleasant than
Well, I mean,
ideally.
Honestly, that's all I'm thinking about when I say the Russians. I'm talking about the Russian.
No, I know.
Political military apparatus.
No, I know, but that's the thing is like we as societies and these tribal people get grouped into like oh the fucking Russians or oh the Americans or oh the Chinese, which is a goddamn billion people. But it's like, dude, 99% of the population doesn't actually give a fuck about any of this and is just trying to survive and get by and have families and procreate and live and all that shit. And then you have this 1% of these people that are actually, doing all the dirty work. But then it kind of filters into like this tribal identity of you're associated with that head figure of whatever. Like that'd be like for me, somebody would be like, fucking American, you got President Trump as your president. I'd be like, yeah, man, it's a poor reflection of who we are as people. I don't know what to tell you. I'm a nice person though. Like don't hate us because of that shit. But that's what we do like across borders, Like I could easily be a Russian on the same side that's the version of me that's like, yeah, I know we got this guy, like don't be pissed at me. I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I agree. I don't hold, like, the Russian people. Like, no. I feel the same way. Like, I would probably love them. Like, I'd love to go drinking on a fucking weekend and have a wild,
Bro.
weekend with the Russians. Like, I really would. And I've had, ish experiences like that were just a blast. And, but I'm talking about, like, Putin and...
Oh, for sure.
The powers that be over there do not have America and Americans' best interests in mind.
No, I know, and I totally agree. I was just speaking and like.
No, your counterpoint is
totally
valid, and there's a big distinction that people don't generally make. Is that?
Yeah, exactly. That was my point. Is that, it's not necessarily seen as that. It's crazy that literally, what would you say? Okay, how many people are in Congress? Oh God damn it. There's what 100 senators and like 500 Congress people.
Like 535 in Congress and 100 in Senate.
Yeah. All right. So 600 people, cabinet members, secretaries, the president. So you're talking about less than 1,000 people are the decision policy makers for a country of 300 plus million people.
Yeah.
And are really the general representatives of how we're viewed in the world. Like that's crazy. I could probably do the math if I wasn't so stupid right now, but that's like 0.001% of the population is like the figurehead of probably less than that of what we are as Americans.
Yeah,
it's pretty nuts.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to be a streamlined process in which the congressmen go back to their districts,
right?
Senators to their states, and
that's true.
And then they bring their concerns up. And they lobby and jockey for what their constituents need the most, and that's ideally how it works. And they work out what's best in the overall interests of everybody by coming to agreements, basically saying, okay, you'll get a little bit of this, your number one thing, but you're gonna have to give up on your number 2 and 3, and then you know
Yeah.
number 4 will kind of help you out, but in return you're gonna have to do this for us and work that shit out. It's deal making. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Well, it's fun. I used to, at some point, be mad at the congressmen and the senators, but then I finally had an actual realization that they were actually elected by a majority vote by their constituents, like running on these platforms, and all of a sudden I blamed them less for some reason, which
No,
they should still be held accountable
be
for
equal. It
holding
should
the
be equal.
opinions that they do. But I was like, holy shit, that's right. Like, they actually got elected by a large group of people. Like, oh man, this is really the things that they stand for and that they do and they say they actually do stand for at least a decent percentage of the population. I'm like, God, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was spinning this around in my head the other day. How would you feel? And I didn't look it up, and I should have before I even brought this up. But the voting age used to be older than it is now, and they dropped it down to 18 basically because of the war movement. And they were like, if you can go to war, obviously you should have the right to vote and all of that stuff. So, do you think that there is a line that we have clearly drawn to where you could be too young or too old to cast a vote? I'm kind of almost throwing too old out there, but we obviously say people are too young and they don't have enough life experience, which I would even argue that maybe 18 is too young to have enough life experience and stuff like that. And people might be pissed. Oh, you're right, but you might be too young to vote at 18. I mean, they know that the frontal lobe or something of the human is not fully developed until the age of 25. So you're not even a full thinking person until then, possibly. And then the other end of it, when you get too old and blah, 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 like you can still go cast a ballot whether or not you're informed, you have any fucking clue what's going on. Like, I mean, how do you regulate those things? And I hear people talk about how we're a republic and not like a true democracy or something like that.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
how are
Well, the
those
founding
things factored
fathers
into
used,
what?
What is it? Aristotle's The Republic as one of their
Yeah.
go-to
Yeah, exactly.
documents. And him along with him with Thomas Paine, I believe, was the other philosopher that they really heavily drew from. But yeah, it was set up to be a republic, which is basically what Plato and all them. It was Plato. Anyways, yeah, that was their form of government. Back in ancient Greece, they had senators and people that would come and speak for their people on behalf of their people, and that's how we set up our government based loosely on the way they did.
Right. But he was even like more of, I might be misinterpreting this because I'm not super well educated on this subject, but the way I understand it loosely is that the way that the Republic's set up is that you're basically kind of supposed to have these more educated leader types that are voted in, but they're supposed to still make the best decisions for the majority of the population, whether or not like they've been voted, like they're supposed to hold one type of belief. Like once they're voted in, they're supposed to just, what am I trying to say right now?
Just become stagnant and like that's it. That's what you're voted to carry out.
No, like more like once they're kind of voted in, they should be left to their own devices because they're the more educated person or whatever, that they're supposed to decide what is the best course of action. And if like your constituents have this one idea of what they want you to do, you could be like, well, that doesn't really make sense. We're going to do this instead, which I guess is completely within their power to do that.
Yes.
Maybe this is a moot point.
Yeah, I think they do that, and
But I think they do it less and less. You know what I mean? Like
they're
towing party lines at this
influenced
point is
by group pressure, but not like necessarily good idea pressure. You know what I mean?
yeah. I guess that's true. That's kind of a good point. All right, I take back everything I said.
That was
Sorry.
so good.
Everyone's like, oh, Oh, Vince just crossed his eyes and decided to talk for a while. You're welcome, everybody.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I just lost all credibility with anything I've ever said before.
We don't have credibility. We have
That's a good point.
we are. So I was kind of trying to think, we're not intellectuals. We're not smart enough to be considered intellectuals.
No.
But we
That's a
enjoy
painful endeavor.
intellectual conversations and pursuits. And that's what this whole thing is. It's not, we don't, do a lot of studying to have background knowledge. We just kind of stumble into a topic that we both find interesting, and the whole point of doing this is to explore a topic or a train of thought or whatever rabbit hole we get into, and have an honest conversation about it, and discuss it, and to be a part of the process of thinking and coming to rational conclusions. And it's something just people in general in society don't do enough of. They don't sit down and talk about things that are important to the world, to themselves, to their neighbors, in in an honest way.
Yeah. No, I think that's good. It's an intellectual exercise for us. It's not that we are intellectuals by any means. It's just that we work out ideas. And even right now, when I just said all that shit and I was like, never mind, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. That's not even a bad thing.
No, that's good.
For you to work out an idea, come back and be like, no, that didn't make sense, or I wasn't even thinking that through when I did it, or whatever it was. You know what I mean? To be able to come to that conclusion that's what you have to do. You got to come up with 1,000 shitty ideas till you come up with those couple of really fucking good ones. But you got to spitball that shit out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is just kind of a stream of consciousness to listen to and to kind of maybe hopefully get lost into and enjoy as if you were a part of it, because you can't help when somebody's thinking about something and explaining it out loud and the process, how they get from A to B and why they think this, but you can't help but to be brought along the journey to a point that becomes clear. Here's the flaw, or here is where I disagree. But nevertheless, it is a journey. It's an exercise of the mind, the imagination.
Yeah. That's anything that we've said, or even in the Cosmos kind of podcast. There were nuggets of facts and truth in there. And even if you take some of those and you're like, oh man, I'm going to look into this a little bit more, that's a good thing, And then just to add to the conversation, and you and I bounce things that I've heard, that you've heard, and then thinking about it more. And even if it's kind of beyond our capacity, especially with that kind of material to
especially
really wrap our heads around.
Computing stuff.
Oh, Jesus. I was listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about it today, and I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm just going to take what you're saying
20 hours
as fact.
of listening to it, we might be able to explain it.
Yeah, at least regurgitate the words that complete a coherent sentence that has a thought behind it.
Exactly.
I probably still won't understand, but I'll know the right words to say.
I think he says that in the foreword to the book is after this book, you won't know all the answers, but you will know enough to have a fruitful conversation about this topic among people that know about this topic.
Yeah. If anybody out there wants to pick up 2 awesome, pretty easy read books on Cosmos typey stuff, Neil deGrasse Tyson's book, Death by a Black Hole, is amazing. I've read it 3 times. I know 3% of it now. And I can't remember who the author is, but A Short History of Nearly Everything, I believe it's called, is another great book that takes you from the beginning to now, and just... It's basically a guy who did not know any of this stuff and decided to learn it from experts and then turn it into a book so us dummies can hopefully understand it.
There's a comedian that had a stand-up about that. It was called The History of Everything.
Oh, yeah.
He was pretty cool.
Yeah, see?
It was Colin something.
Colin Quinn?
Colin Quinn, yep.
Colin Quinn. Damn, man. He's been at it for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's I'm pretty sure he's like a pretty smart guy.
Yeah,
He's
he
very
seemed pretty legit.
he's got a lot of energy. He's high energy.
Yeah, I
But-
enjoyed that.
oh, dude, I watched watched Bert Kreischer's special,
Oh,
Truth Time.
yep.
And it was so good.
Yeah, I had never seen a stand up because I had seen the bit the machine.
The Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Check out The Machine. That shit is fucking hilarious. But yeah, that's
And I kind of thought, okay, this is his shtick, like it's funny,
Yeah.
but and then I saw him on Joe Rogan talking, and he seems like he's put in like years and years and years and years, stand up, and he works hard on it, and he said he was super happy with all the work, how it paid off, and so I'm gonna go give that stand up on Netflix a shot one of these nights here.
Yeah, it was solid. Besides Bert seeming like just an all around pretty fucking cool, just really nice, decent human being.
Yeah.
This special was actually funny. Like, I caught myself laughing out loud on several occasions, which even if I'll sit back and objectively say, oh, that was funny, there are times where I won't actually be laughing, but his shit, it was good.
Yeah, I'm a non-laugher,
I was
too.
super happy for him. Yeah. I can sit back and be like, oh, that was funny. Like,
Then like a week later, you'll tell somebody, you'll be busting up laughing trying to tell it.
right, exactly. I've sat through many a comedy specials and not actually laughed. And
Pretty
been like,
much
wow, that was really good.
the comedian's worst nightmare are fans that actually like it but stay silent. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. No, that shows you got to check it out. Yeah, I was I was almost not gonna watch it, and I was like, you know what? Either way, I'm gonna give Bert a fucking Netflix view. I'm gonna click play just for him, get those numbers up, and it actually turned out to be really fucking funny.
Yeah.
So I was stoked. I was stoked on that. Good job, Bert.
Yep.
The Machine. Yeah, that dude's good.
Yeah, that was particularly funny just because, you make a little extra connections here and there when he's telling us this.
Kleb. You're like, oh shit, I know that word too, bro. He's like, I'm doing it. I'm speaking.
Yeah, machine.
Anybody that doesn't know that bit, check that shit out. That was fucking
Yeah.
hilarious. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, he seems like a bright, like, just nice person. Because I've seen him or listened to him several times on Rogan's podcast. Like, every time he's been on, I make sure to listen to it. And he just seems like a nice person.
Yeah.
Like, he just wants to be happy and do fun things. And, I don't know, dick around a little bit in life. But he just seems like a really nice guy. I want to believe that.
So he had Chuck
Palahniuk
Yeah,
or whatever you
Palahniuk.
say his name. Yeah.
on, I guess, I don't know, it was before, must have been before.
Yeah, it was like a few days
Yeah.
before.
So sometime in the last week he had him on there, mostly known for writing Fight Club and a couple other popular
Yeah.
books.
Choke.
Dude, this dude, Choke, Guts, or Gut.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously
What's that
Fight
other
Club, and
He's got a handful of books that he's well known for. I'm trying to think of the one with the cover of the book is like an old lady and then but also like a beautiful woman. What the fuck is it called? I don't know. But he writes some messed up, pretty dark shit.
yeah, his interview he was a really dark guy, like in
Like,
an
if you think-
approachable, intelligent way, in a purposely like dark, like he was a journalist by trade, as far as like that's what he got his degree in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he
Okay.
does a lot of research on people, and almost like a people watcher, and because he tells these insane, vulnerable stories that most people wouldn't even dream of telling.
Yeah.
To where people get up and leave and go to the bathroom and cry in the middle of his fucking readings. And he says, that happens, and then there's also the people that come up afterwards and they tell me, a similar story, or a story that they said they couldn't ever tell anybody, because he's like, but if you can tell like your story about masturbating in a public pool and blowing out your anus, like,
Yeah.
I could tell this story about, being sexually abused and beaten by my mother, and and just start going on in this horrific story. And the dude's just a collector of macabre, dark stories about human nature, really. And it was really interesting. Excuse me.
Oh my God, he's laying down, people.
It was.
Tell him for you.
I'm leaning.
This is a nap
back. I'm
podcast.
chilling. I'm like 70.
Chris has been sleep talking this whole time.
But what was I talking about? No, it was really interesting
Check
for him to to hear his mind get picked about how he thinks about things, and the way he looks at the world, and I don't know. I thought it was a fascinating interview. I recommend it.
Yeah, I don't know how I passed over that one because I knew who he was and I know what he's written. And anybody that knows Fight Club, like, that is a tame version of anything that he's ever written. He writes some dark shit.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't in the mood, I don't think, for something like heavy. So I listened to Bert Kreischer, and I think I listened to another comedian instead. Like, I bounced around, but no, man, that guy is for real.
Yeah.
And he doesn't fuck around. Like, he does just write some off the wall, dark, crazy, personal, whether or not it's real to him, the fact that his mind at least comes up with it and puts it to paper, I'm like, dude, good for you. We all have fucked up. All right, it can't just be me, because me and Chuck. But, like, you have weird fucked up thoughts or things that happen in life.
For sure.
And you just kind of tuck that inside and you don't write it down or tell anybody. And Chuck's out there like, fuck this. I was like, dude, he writes some crazy shit. That's why I had a hard time reading Choke, and then this one that I can't think of the name of. I actually never finished it because it was bringing me down. I was like, nope, I'm tapping on this one. But yeah, he's a special mind, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I really enjoyed that interview a lot.
Yeah, I need to do that. It's something.
It's not over the top. It's not fast paced. He's very measured and very controlled with his speech, and an intensely intelligent master of his world at what he does, type of a situation. And it's like you're behind a glass door, almost, just getting to watch this Silence of the Lambs type fucking interview.
So what do you think it is about that? Because like I said, I had a hard time reading both of the books that I read. I never read Fight Club. I've just seen the movie.
Yeah.
But both of his books that I read, I had a hard time. One, I couldn't even get through. So what is it that draws... I can't remember. No, it wasn't that one. I read Choke. I got through that. And I read another one. Something about being pretty.
Oh.
It was a girl. Yeah. She was pretty, and then she was like losing her looks. I can't remember what it's called. But, so what is it that draws an audience, because he's hugely famous, to a guy like that, who writes stories like that?
Well, are you asking me?
Yeah,
I
am.
My opinion is that there's a need for that in the world. Obviously, people crave that sort of honesty. I think that's where it comes from, because people's, society likes to pretend that everything's shiny and bright and okay on the outside, when we're all struggling on the inside. We all have demons that we're fighting, either ourselves or our loved ones, our situation, whatever it is. We've all got something, and we put on these fake fronts, what we have to survive. They're sort of like armor to leave the house. It's a personality that you wear for the public. And I think on the inside, there's a lot of fucked up people that are, either entertained, relate to, maybe some cathartic exercises going on there. And some people just like strange, dark twisted shit for the sake of it's different. It's not like anything they're bombarded with on a daily basis of fucking keeping up with the Kardashians. Like, it's something on a different level of honesty, talking about things that most people feel at some point in their life, and almost everybody pretends to just let it go away because they don't want to talk about it. It's too awkward. It's too taboo, and it's a shared human experience. You know, like, not to get into some of his stuff because it was a little bit much for me to even repeat, but some of his stories just about mundane things, and they started off really like could have been any kid, and then they take a dark turn quickly. And he was writing these stories for his like writing class, and they came to him afterwards and were like, "No, don't come back." Sorry,
Chuck.
People here are legitimately scared of you. Please just don't come back.
Should be at least a little concerned. Be like, dude, are you okay, man? You okay? No, not really, but I'm gonna continue writing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I see definitely the appeal, even in something like mundane. Like for me, I love when I find a good movie that ends like shit. Not it has a shitty ending, but that there wasn't that little perfect wrap up happy ending. Like, I don't know why, and this is everybody I've ever met for the most part completely disagrees with me, but I love the movie Requiem for a Dream for some reason.
No, it's a weird classic on its own. It's not something I can watch again.
Oh, see, yeah, I don't know. I part of me wants to. I've watched it so many times when I was younger, like so many times. I used to listen to the soundtrack, and I want to go back and revisit it because it's been a decade or something like that, just to see what it was. I know I have it on Blu-ray. I haven't watched it ever, but it was literally one of my favorite movies, and it's just the darkest thing ever.
Yeah, it is.
And that translates into like what Chuck does, just in written form.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm like, what is that? What is that makes you just want to watch something? But it's true. It's like the truth that comes through it, whereas everybody, for the most part, does wrap it up in a nice, fancy, happy bow. But that's not what life is.
No,
like that. Yeah. Yeah. Life is not the easy, happy-go-lucky version of the 50s or whatever that people made it out to be. White picket fence and all that shit, and man, life ends tragically. And so to see someone kind of put that down in a medium or art form in a way of this is a true thing that occurs, I don't know, it's more unique. Yeah. It's sort of more honest, and it's something that most people don't do.
Ultra honest, simply because it's addressing some of the issues are issues that we all experience, have experienced, or will experience, and addressing the things that almost everybody thinks in the back of their mind, but doesn't act on, and would deny most of the time ever having thought them, because it's an uncomfortable thing to talk about, and it's just easier to pretend. And when people are dragging that to the forefront of a Barnes and Noble's reading sit-in reading performance, and everybody's trapped in their chair, and he starts with the darkest chapter in the book, and
I couldn't imagine hearing him read that shit. Like, that's so dark. It's so bad. It's so bad.
But it's necessary, man. And I think.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, that was like I was listening to somebody talk recently, and they're like, it's people that go off to war and then they come back and they have to assimilate with people who have no idea what the fuck war is like, even if they've, try to pretend or have some sort of rational understanding of what you went through. Like, it's not the same. How do you re-assimilate into something like that when,
It's, I don't know, man. And over the last few years, like, I've been thinking more and more about my own state of mind, and like, if I remember thinking in the mid late 20s, I was like, okay, I'm good now, and I wasn't. But having that kind of thought went through my mind, and I think I I had a lot of different demons. Nothing catastrophic, but I mean, the worst thing was my dad died when I was 6, and there was a lot of stuff surrounding that. But like even my stepdad, who was abusive, it wasn't like he put me in the hospital with broken bones or anything like that. He knocked me, backhanded me across the face when I was like 7 or something, and I go sliding across the floor, and they just like physically scare the hell out of me.
Ugh.
Toss me around and stuff like that. But
I got into a serious argument with somebody recently over hitting your kids. So anyways, I'm very against it, needless to
like
say.
spanking, hitting. What are you talking about? Anything?
Yeah. Well, I guess it was spanking. I'll just default to spanking. I don't remember if it evolved into like hitting, but I was just from where I was coming from, like, and my thoughts on it, and whether or not you agree or disagree, I know. But first of all, I don't know that there's a psychologist anywhere that you're gonna find. Okay, there's an asshole somewhere. For the most part, that you're gonna find that's like, yeah, you're right. It probably is a good idea to spank your kid, hit your kid, or whatever. Like from a psychologist, a psychology perspective. Then coming up with the fact that you are a grown-ass, full-thinking adult who has no other better way of expressing the way that you feel or trying to get your ideas or point across other than having to physically strike your child so that they understand. Like, come on, you have to do better than that. You have to do better than that.
So let me ask you this: have you ever spanked?
No.
Never once.
Nope.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Nope.
I have a couple times each. They were between the ages of, I would say, right around 3, give or take, and at the point where they would still throw fits, but they were physically able to get up and run away, kick, bite, spit, like put up a good fight before school in the morning. And one time, Archer kicked me in the face, like flailing around, and would not stop. He was like screaming like for the police because he did not want to go to school. And
screaming for the police. He already knows at 5 years old.
And I gave him warnings. I couldn't get through to him, and so I bent him over, pulled his pants down, and he was like, no, put his hands behind there, and I just gave him one good. It was a good stinging swat. It didn't have like impact, like force, like as far as like a punch type force, but
like a hit.
Yeah, but it had a sting, a little, and he cried, and I was actually worried there was gonna be a couple fingerprints, like just red. But I made sure before I drew my arm back just to kind of take a half breath in and be like, calm. You're not doing this out of anger. You're doing this out of getting him to snap back out of whatever craziness he's in. And I still feel incredibly guilty, but I had both sides of it. I had the just straight physical violence. Then I had my great grandmothers who took care of me, and they had switches. And when I did something stupid, I knew I had to go get my own switch off the fucking tree, and they would bring it over and switch me.
Oh my God, you were that kid? That was a real thing that actually happened in the world in history?
Yes.
I've heard stories.
Yeah,
but...
I grew up on an old school farm in Northern California.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
Damn, bro.
I've had a little bit of everything. My mom used to beat me with wooden spoons.
Oh, really? That was a thing that happened too? I know my cousins, that was a thing that happened, like the wooden spoon thing.
Yeah. And she started breaking them and then went to a belt.
Damn, bro.
And eventually to a fucking towel hanger bar for your bathrooms.
What?
Yes. I saw the fucking indentation on my shin.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, damn, I'm sorry. Yeah. See, oh, that's terrible. I couldn't even imagine that. I can't even imagine how you could get to the point where you could look at a little person and get to that point of doing that to them.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around it at all. Like so I will say, in full disclosure, like, I've never spanked my kids, especially. Well, no, I just have never spanked my kids, and I've never like smacked them out of anger. But I do know on one or two occasions I have like bopped them on the top of the head, literally kind of in the way that you said,
Yeah.
of like you are freaking out, and like I've tried to reason with you, I've tried to do breathing exercises with you, I've tried to do like let's talk in the third person, like all of these things, and I'm like this isn't working. Maybe you literally just need to be like scared or shocked out of the state that you're
Yeah.
in. It wasn't like a punishment or an anger thing. It was literally like I maybe if I just like give you something to take you out of whatever your mental state is,
Yeah.
you'll snap back into it, you know? But it's literally like maybe one or two times, but it's
Yeah.
never out
And
of a punishment or anger thing at
I
all.
imagine it's more like the wrist motion. It's not like a whole arm swing. You know, there's very different.
No,
ways to do
no.
it. That's how
It's
I
literally
did.
like a tap on the
Like,
head just to be
my
like,
butt spanks
just to
was
get you to be like,
it was just wrist, wrist.
yeah, it's enough to get you to be like, oh, dad just thumped me on the head, just to be like,
Yeah, I don't even mind
get
that.
you
Like,
to-
unless
to
you got
think
some
of-
fucking like, Sylvester Stallone HGH pumped fucking 4-inch in diameter knuckles. Like, I don't mind a thump on the
oh,
head.
dude, not even that. I'm like, tell you like a couple of fingers, just like a little doink, like just to try to get you to refocus your attention on something, to get your brain from
I used to get that
running
too.
in the direction that it's
I
going.
would get that a lot. Just a fucking
I don't know.
nice fucking bam right between the eyes.
God damn it, this fucking sleep podcast,
What? I just yawned.
bro.
I mean,
I know, could have been anything.
yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't know, man. It's just like it's a weird thing
What is violence?
that I just yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird that people don't want to admit that it exists.
Oh,
To some
yeah,
extent.
no. Well, everybody I think knows it exists. They deny it within themselves. I think, like,
Right.
they don't realize that no, you're a fucking animal, and you take away all your creature comforts and your easy food source and water source. You turn back into that animal really quickly, and
Like real
yeah,
quick.
like 2 days, and you're animalistic.
Yeah, and that's even for yourself, let alone if you have other people,
Yeah.
your offspring that are dependent on you,
Yeah.
or a spouse or something like that. Like, boom, then you're really ready to go.
Yeah, I would be, dude. I mean, I am. I have. Excuse me. I have my go bag sitting by my bed, full of fucking MREs and night lights and fucking cooking
Yeah.
stuff and water purification and knives and hatchets and
Yeah, everybody, go prepyourself.com.
not go fuck
Yeah.
yourself. That's our twin
Go
site.
prep yourself. Go prep yourself. We'll have the Go Prep Yourself t-shirts coming off on sale on the website when it launches soon. Everybody will be able to go prep themselves.
And on
Yes.
Go Fuck Yourself, we'll have the frozen brass butt plugs for morning consumption to get
Oh, that's
your
right.
caffeine enema delivered.
I don't think yeah, nobody's heard about this,
Yeah.
but that's another one.
Yep.
That's another one. For all you people that aren't coffee drinkers and don't want to be slugging down energy drinks, we have the what is it? The bronze butt
brass
plug.
butt plug.
Brass. Damn it.
Brass butt plug.
I just fucked that
Stick
up.
it in the
I think I
freezer
said
with some
copper last
coffee.
time.
And
Guaranteed to wake you up first thing in the morning instantly. There's no
it's like a
like
triple. It's a
coffee
3 for
intake
1.
delay.
Yep. Get that caffeine straight
Yeah.
to your system, and the fucking the cold frozen brass in your anus will really
That'll get you going in
your
the morning.
man. Set you off on the right foot to conquer
If
the world.
somehow that does not wake you the fuck up early in the morning, we'll work out some sort of refund program, and
Yeah.
you get a free shirt, and we'll
well,
give you a shout out.
if the little brass butt plugs don't work, the next size up is the brass monkey, which is
Yeah, the funky
basically
monkey.
just like a monkey's paw.
Yeah.
Made out of brass, but
Yeah, that'll do the
yeah,
job for sure.
That'll work anybody else's up. Or you could just do some butt kegels and try and hold the brass butt plug in.
Yeah, that's another thing. We have to get weighted
That's
ones
what
so people.
Vince does. I mean,
Yeah. Well,
he has to
obviously,
take like
gotta
3
keep
in there
that
so
shit
that they
tight.
don't, like, you know, jangle out.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. That's how I do. All right. On that note, thanks for tuning in and hanging with us tonight. No big deal.
No big deal.
We covered some stuff, man.
Yeah.
We talked about things. We went dark. We went with the death of somebody, and then we went dark again later on.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
all
I
it
had a
was.
lot more darkness. I was ready to talk about. We'll have to like do a darkness part 2.
Yeah, that's easy. We live in the darkness. That's not a big deal. All day. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Love y'all. Be good to each other.
Please.
Is it for lucky number 13. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We had a good little political talk, kind of dominated the conversation, which wasn't necessarily intended. But out of what we just did from that episode and kind of previous episodes, we've decided that we're going to have specific episodes for political situations and commentary. And I think we might lump it into kind of just more general world news. We're going to try to do it in a way where we provide hopefully the best facts that we can without being salacious or exaggerating anything, so that you just get straight facts straight to your earballs and you can make a determination as to how you feel about those situations without some political commentator or news anchor or something kind of feeding you the way you're supposed to feel about whatever events have occurred. We're going to give you events, you're going to digest them and come to your own conclusions. And that's something that I think both of us feel is lacking in the news realm. Even when you get to some better outlets, they still have a tendency to skew things or say things in a certain way or present topics or situations from a certain light. So we're going to try to do the best that we can to remain objective, which I know if you've listened to our episodes, we do what we can. We're not perfect, obviously. So that's going to be a new type of episode that's going to be coming out on a weekly basis in conjunction with the 2 topical episodes that we're going to have each week. So I'm not sure when we're going to start doing that. Hopefully soon. Stay tuned. Be ready for that. And hopefully it's something that everybody enjoys and that we're feeding good information to people. And it's kind of going to be a trial and see what happens. Hopefully it's something new. That's awesome. That you enjoy. That we enjoy doing. So with that, thank you so much for listening, sitting down with us for lucky number 13. Hope you enjoyed it. And we appreciate the hell out of you. Anybody that listens to this podcast, we still can't believe that you take any time out of your day to listen to the 2 of us rant about whatever topic we got going on that day. Thank you so much. Every view, like, share, anything like that warms our little hearts. So thank you. And as always, please be good to each other. And we will see you on the next episode.